Alright, what we're gonna do is go back. Way back. Well, kinda. We'll start with Buxom and Mogg. Together they had 9 children, 6 girls followed by 3 boys. They named their youngest daughter Maggie. She married Fred. They had 2 sons and 1 daughter. I am the oldest of them. I'm Kendrick.
The middle boy, they named Herbert. Well, his name is Aubrey, but we'll get into that later. He married Deborah, and they had 3 girls. I am the oldest of them. I'm Tawana.
The third oldest was a girl they named Sadie. She married a man named Roosevelt, and they would have 3 kids together, the oldest of which was Darryl. He met and married Antoinette, and they too would have 3 kids together. And with their oldest, they gave Buxom and Mogg their very first great-grandchild. That was me, Martine.
The oldest of them all, and bossy second mama to many, was a girl named Blossom. She married Jean, and the 2 of them had 7 children together. The tallest of them was Jerome. He married Juanita and had 2 sons. The oldest of them was me, Junie. So, y'all catch all that? Anyway.
Hey, cousin!
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, extended family? It is Hey Cousins, and we are back for season 2, coming at you live, blacker, bigger, better in color. We have so many great topics to discuss with y'all this go around. We really hope that you enjoyed last season. We poured our hearts and souls in it, and now we're just ready to keep doing a little bit more in that and make this thing even bigger and broader. So I know that you guys might, if you're watching us in the Interverse, see a little bit of a change. So one thing about this season is we have a new resident cousin in the house. My big cousin Martine, our big cousin. Well, no, my big cousin and Tawana's little cousin, or y'all about the same age?
We twins.
Twins. I want to, first of all, thank Martine for coming on. She is going to be a great ad. Y'all gonna love her. Like when the discussion came on what cousin we wanted to have come into the seat, it was an easy no-brainer. She is one of the most personable people that we know, let alone already being family, and she's got her own accolade. So let me go ahead and throw it off to Martine to introduce yourself to our extended family and kind of let them know where you fall within our family.
So hey cousin family, this is, like he said, Martine. So I am the first grandchild of Buxom and Ma's second daughter. So I'll just say Mama S. I'm not gonna put her name out there because I don't need no spankings at this age.
Right.
I'm just gonna say Mama S. So I am her first grandchild, their first great grandchild. When Mama S and my grandfather got together, they had my father. He is the first on that side, and I'm also what's one of the northern cousins because grew up in New York. So we have a lot to discuss, talk about the differences in the North versus the South, talk about, upbringing and things of that nature. So my background is clinical. I have a doctorate in health psychology. Of course, y'all, I am not on here to be Dr. Ruth, Dr. Phil, Dr. anything. We are trying to really, really get a grip on our upbringing, our roots, where we come from. That's pretty much what I'm here to do. And of course, I know everyone on here, yes, when we get together, it's like time never passed. We get together, okay? But are we a bit disconnected? Absolutely. So there's so much that we can learn from one another, and I'm with it. I'm ready to go. And like I said, if I do have some clinical insight, absolutely, I'll jab that in. But I am not Dr. Ruth or Dr. Phil on here. I am just a cousin.
Yes, y'all, you heard here first. Please don't go around town talking about like, oh yeah, like
Dr. whatever said
psychologist.
No, girl.
The whoop. No, she did not, and we won't corroborate your story. If you say that, you lying.
Disclaimer, and don't Google me. Don't Google
you already
me.
know.
But I
want to
But
say we are so proud of Martine and, you know, especially her background because we didn't know.
Isn't that
Yes,
crazy?
yeah,
it
Isn't that
Right.
is.
crazy?
It is. It is. And that's why this podcast is so necessary and it's so, you know, important, especially for our family, because when our kids get older, as
Mhm.
Kendrick like to say, all they have to do is press play. So
Hey,
this
Absolutely.
is super. This season is going to be super exciting, especially with insight from like the behavioral side of things. I think we're gonna kind of unpack a whole lot. But I'm gonna be quiet.
well, Tawana actually kind of touched on one of the really dope things that we're going to try to incorporate this season. So not only do we have a new resident cousin, but we want to try to give you guys some more guest cousin visits throughout the season. So we'll be having cousins that, you know, are within our huge, expansive family that have some pointed interest in some of the particular topics that we're going to be going down. And another element that we are bringing to this season is we want to hear from y'all. We want to hear from our extended family. And so with that, we have been fielding some of the letters that have been coming in, some of the messages that have been coming in, and we have our first of a new installment we are going to call Cuzzo Questions. Okay. So we are going to send it off to the doctor in the house, but not
yeah,
really,
yeah.
to read off our first letter.
Not today. Not on a
Right.
weekday.
The weekday doctor.
Yes, the
Mm.
weekday. So we do have our first letter. So I'll read our first letters. Hello, cousins. I've been watching your podcast and have enjoyed many of the topics that you've shown. I'm a 25-year-old male from a similar small town in the South. So my question to you is, how can I value my family when they don't value me? I recently came out as a gay male and was told by multiple people in my family that you're going to hell. How do you continue to connect with those who've shown such negative views of who you are and can't seem to see you for you? Should I continue to try to work on the relationship or just form new relationship with those who value me? Now that is deep. And everyone's going to learn that I can relate to some of this. So I'm going to let you guys answer that and chime in at the end since I'm part of the LGBTQ family. So yeah, that's deep.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is like a huge issue in our community when it comes down to sexuality and being alienated from the family, which to me was always a little strange because for the most part, everybody got at least a gay cousin. So I don't understand the hate for someone's personal preference.
Right.
As being heterosexual, who I sleep with or who I enjoy my time with is none of anyone's business. So why should I, impose my thoughts and my feelings on someone else's relationships? If they're happy and they're my family or not my family, I'm happy for them. So I don't think we can afford as a community of people to be divided in any way. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, we're all one family at the end of the day, regardless of, those nuances of our personal lives. So as far as the question about should you move on, you should always go to where you're valued. You know, not all the time the people that have share the same blood with you are going to be on the same page with you. And when it comes down to it, there's so many people that may go out and do things like commit suicide because they feel like they're left out. When there's people that are around them that show them a love like family, you know, you have to kind of choose your own family to a certain point at a certain age, especially when it comes down to choosing your path, a healthy path for your life and the lives of everyone around you. I wish this person much confidence and success in who they are, and you should always value yourself. And if people don't value you, they don't deserve to have you in their lives.
Absolutely. I want to first commend our internet cousin for writing in and being, courageous enough to even share that with us because there's so many people that cannot share that type of thing with another soul in the world, right? So it takes a lot of bravery to be able to even ask us our opinion on how they should move forward with a situation such as that. And one of the things that I want to make sure that you are keeping in mind is a really important thing with family, regardless, is boundaries, right? And one of the things that, regardless of who you are, what you are, if you give respect, you should get respect, right? And so I feel like in this particular situation, if you go into it kind of like setting up your particular boundaries, like, y'all, I'm who I am, and that's can be a different conversation if you are uncomfortable with that conversation. But that has no bearing on how I approach you, how I, interact with you, how I've always been. I'm no different from who I've been before. And some people are prepared for that type of conversation and others are not, right? So I say the step one is create a boundary and let them know, like, we don't have to talk about anything at all. So if that makes you uncomfortable, you can sidestep that whole thing. And I promise you, we can still have our same relationship. But if they can't accept that, then it's time for you to act on your own boundary and just kind of keep your distance from them. You don't have to keep casting yourself on the fire. Person in your everyday life that you were interacting with that had such a problem with something that you're not even necessarily actively enforcing on them or trying to share with them or level with them about, you would just be done with that person. And just because you share a similar bloodline or the same bloodline does not force you to have to be subjugated to feeling less than at the hands of your family. If they can't take it, move on, you'll be all right. And just like Kendrick said, one of the things that's really big in the LGBTQ community that I've seen is that they have a way of really bonding together and finding family when they come from a space that doesn't really give them that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many kids that are kicked out early because of their sexuality that go on to find people that would jump in front of a bullet for them. And I'm like, yo, if that's the end game, then I would rather be there than some people who don't even really want me around.
I agree. I agree with you both wholeheartedly. I feel like, hey, cousin, thank you for, sharing this letter with us because a lot, not only you, but I'm sure we're answering this question for a lot of people that have come out. But I feel like the hard part is done. You finally stepped into your truth. They know who you are. And I mean, either they could take it or leave it. And I mean, at this point, before they knew, what your sexual orientation was, they loved you. So, in my opinion, I believe that you continue to just be that cousin, that friend, that brother, that uncle. There's no reason for them to continue to shun you. And if they do, that's a reflection of who they are, not you. So I think that's Junie and Kendrick said the best damn answer. So we gotta stop cussing so much too. But they said the best.
Who said?
They have the best answer for that. Like, you've stepped into your truth and either they could take it or leave it. And at this point, you don't want to be nasty about it, but you're free now in who you are. So don't let anybody put you back in that cage. I don't care if it's a family member. And that's my take on it.
I'll end it. And like I said, I can relate. Coming out and saying, I'm a lesbian woman, I am who I am. I guess my personality is a bit different from maybe a lot of the individuals that struggle with their sexuality. I just didn't care. Yes, I was told by the older group, oh, you're going to hell, you're going to this. And I kindly said, okay, and still did what I did. So to answer that question, I feel like you need to be confident in who you are, regardless of what it is. It's the same as if you're in an interracial relationship. Be confident in that interracial relationship and also be ready, right? Because you are constantly going to have to fight for who you are. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. Now, you build that connection with those family members that do love you, regardless of the situation or regardless of who you love. And that's exactly what I did. Yes, I'm going to hell over here, but I have cousins who love me over here. So then I'll stick with the ones who love me. That's how you do it. And with the LGBTQ, you did bring up something that was great, Junie. We do build that connection and that bond. Why? Because a lot of us have similarities and we can relate to a lot of things. You do have skepticism when it comes to, how do I say this kindly? Individuals who are dipping and dabbing, right?
Mm.
So Thanksgiving in 2017, they had the girlfriend, and then Thanksgiving in 2020, they got the boyfriend. And I think that's what kind of confuses the older group to think that, oh no, what? Well, that girl confused. She just don't know what she wants. And it's not that. They are who they are. You embrace it regardless of what the situation is. I could care less. A relationship is just that, a relationship, whether it's same sex or opposite sex. Believe me when I tell you, there's really no differences, but the sex, that's it. So be who you are. You have to be confident, because if you're not confident, they're not going to feed off of that vibe. They're really not going to come around. And I must say, the older group came around. They came around. And a lot of them, I think they just needed to see, they needed to ask questions, and they needed me to be open enough to say, this is who I am. This is what it looks like for me. And that's what I did. And you move on from there.
Thank you for that, cuz I think that was a perfect way to like round out that series of answering to such a pertinent question that means a lot to that writer, right? And I'm so excited to be able to kind of dive into your experiences growing up, with everything that you had to go through and everything that you have surpassed in order to be who you are today. So we will definitely be diving into those elements throughout this season too, and I think it's going to be really a really spiritual experience for the listener who might be in the crux of that transition right now. So what we want to do now is I want to just make sure that you guys know that you can definitely write in to Hey Cousin, HGYYYY cousin@gmail.com. You can write any questions, you can write any feedback, anything to us. And if you have any questions for us that you'd like for us to answer on the show, you do not have to disclose your personal information. We will keep those things anonymous on your behalf unless you tell us, no, use my name so this can know what I'm talking about, right? So, going forward, we will always be in our inbox fielding those questions, and we thank you for your continual listening. And without any further ado, we are going to get into today's topic. Today's topic, season 2, starting off, is actually a kind of a lead in from that same question too, right? So, if you are faced with something where you got to either stick it out, or just move on, sometimes you got to move on and you can't take them people. Today's topic, if you open your word with me, is everybody can't go. Okay?
Amen.
Once again, everybody can't go.
Can't go.
So I'm going to start out this conversation with, I don't know how many of you have been to HBCUs, but I can speak for myself. And as a graduate of Howard University, when you go to freshman orientation, you sit in this big auditorium and they say, look to your left and look to your right.
Look to your right.
And they say, by next year, not everybody's going to be here, right? I felt like the spirit of Ayanna Van Zant just came out of me. Beloved, let me lean into it. Beloved, at the end of the year, not everybody's going to be here.
Absolutely.
And with that, right, you go through so many things in life. You go through so many experiences where you've met people, where you've had relationships that sometimes are super close relationships, right? And there comes a point where, because of your growth, or sometimes because of the lack of someone else's growth, things are not meshing well, right? And so with that, figure out, like, do I stay and try to appease this relationship or foster this relationship for the sake of, oh, we've been friends for such and such a years or whatever, or, oh, this should be my business partner because this is my best friend from high school or best friend from elementary school. But guess what? You are shooting yourself in the foot a lot of the times by dragging these people along with you on journeys they were never supposed to even be around. And I want us to open up the conversation to maybe some experiences that we've had, some insights that we've had, and I will throw it to whoever will catch it.
The moment I feel that you decide that you want to expand yourself past the boundaries of what you're used to, that happens. And I think the biggest thing for me as I continue to expand and grow is the guilt that in the beginning, you kind of feel guilty about cutting off these old ties and things of that nature. But in order for you to get to your next level of life, you must kind of clean out your closet. you know,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? You can't want a new wardrobe with a closet full of old stuff. It takes a lot of discipline and commitment to yourself, which is important for you to kind of make those moves and kind of go through your life and kind of sort out those relationships that might not be serving you. And if it's not serving you, it's not serving them either. So it's very important to put yourself first so that you can fill your vessel, and then from that point you can overflow. But if you're trying to hold on to old stuff, you'll never get your vessel full. So you'll never get to your top tier of life for the simple fact that you're trying to hold on to things that aren't congruent with your new standard of living and what you want in life. So it's very important that you, I guess, get some tough skin when it comes to this, because you're going to lose a lot of people that you thought were going to be in your life forever, just for the simple fact that you're making choices that aren't the same choices they've made.
I definitely have to agree with that. If you take a look at your life, so the age that I am, your age, you think about all the friends that you've had, and think about today. Are some of those friends still around?
Come on, somebody.
So I just feel like a lot of times when Kendrick said you have to have thick skin, I think my skin have always been thick because I just don't care.
Right.
Because if you're not reciprocating what I'm giving, or you're not adding value, and that's any relationship, that's in a partnership as well. If I'm in a relationship with someone, I need you to add something to this relationship. It can't just be one way, one-sided. So you have to purge. And I'm okay with
Absolutely.
purging. I like to purge when it comes to clothes because I like new stuff. So I purge in a minute so I could get new stuff. And I'll do the same in all areas. And I also feel like when you hold on, you're blocking your blessings indirectly. You really
Yeah.
are. Because I've seen by experience me letting go and me being so fulfilled in the end.
Mhm.
So, you have to do it. You have to do it. And those that belong there will continue to be there.
Absolutely.
So there's nothing to be afraid of. It's okay. You have to kind of put self first at some point in time. And we're all parents on this call. We're all moms, dads. So then you think about your kid after that.
Yes.
You think about your child, because you're starting to build for them as well. And you want them to model this behavior.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You don't want them to stay stuck, and you don't want them to stay stagnant. So why not? Let things
And
go.
Martine, to that point, like I want to make sure that I highlight what you just said. Like you brought in the element of kids, and we all know from last season that I'm a new dad, right? My son is 8 months now, right? And when we found out that my wife was pregnant, the first time that we found out that she was pregnant, like it was a game changer for me. It was like, wait, like everybody in my sphere is about to be a direct influence on my child and who he or she may
Absolutely.
be and all of that, right? And it really just it allows that hatchet to fly, baby. Like, and I didn't have that, you know what I'm saying, beforehand, but now it's like, oh, you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Do you trust this person with your child? If you're questioning that, then they gotta go. They gotta go. You know, can your
Absolutely.
child look at this person and learn something from them? Can your child go and hang with this person for a weekend? Do you trust this person with it? It's a lot of thinking and thought process that goes into it. And Kendrick said having tough skin. And like I said, I don't know. It's just the person I am. That's Mama S right there. Mama S don't. And I must say, I have that DNA where it's like, blam, bam, it is what it is, because I'm all about making it happen and handling my business. And my son comes first. He comes first. And I have to model what I want to see for him. He can't see something that I'm not doing myself. There's just no.
Exactly.
Exactly. And that goes for the people that's around me too.
Kids always model what you do versus what you say.
Exactly. And he's at a real developmental stage, right? So 7-year-olds, that's critical. That they're watching everything, even when you think they don't see. They are watching everything and they feed off of your energy. Mom, are you okay? What's going on? He's very, very in tune. Very, very in tune. To the point where I'm shocked, like, Dad, I thought I was covering that up, but you're
Trying to
not.
hide it, right?
Yeah,
No.
they see everything. They see everything. So if you're not modeling this, then it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Just to contribute to this conversation, okay, so you guys talked about when it's time, like everybody can't go, and that's a hard thing, especially in dealing with business and family. It's something that it reminds me of. Y'all remember when we used to be in school or maybe on a job or something, and you had a project to do, and before it's everybody is involved in the project, but it's always that one that does not do what they're supposed to do. And then when you call them out, they instantly, make excuses or whatever, and you still want them to get the grade that you're gonna get because they started out, with you on this journey, but they didn't deliver none of their action items or their deliverables. So it's like, when you think about that, it's like, in that setting, they still get the grade, because 9 times out of 10, when I was in school, I never told, Jenny ain't did her work, or this one didn't do his work, Josh didn't do his work. They end up still getting the grade, but when it comes to life, it's a little bit different. Huh?
Martine said she called him out. She's
like,
Jenny ain't do her work.
Oh, she ain't working.
She was that one.
Wasn't at the meeting.
But I didn't tell on them or whatever. I just let it ride or whatever. But that spilled over into my personal life in dealing with people, because as people, sometimes you always want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Well, just let it ride. It ain't what it is. But what I've learned on this journey of only 40, I learned that, just like y'all said, some people can't go. They just can't go. And it's because either you have outgrown them, because we do outgrow people. Let's get it. Like Martine led the conversation and said, are you friends with some of the same people that you were friends with when you were 16 years old? For me, that's a hell no. You know what I'm saying? 21, no. Some people have been recently cut off as early as 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Because we just don't have the same values. We don't share the same morals. We don't see things the way, we cut from different cloths. So I think, even though I use a school situation or project situation as a starter for the conversation, I really think in our personal lives, we have to assess the people that are around us, because like Kendrick said, when you're going to a level of high vibrations, when you're on a different frequency, when you're in a different mindset, everybody is not going to be able to see the same things. Like sometimes when certain topics and certain things I talk about, I don't talk about with certain people because they would have no idea what I'm talking about or how to contribute to the conversation. So it's just a part of life. It's one of the growing pains of life. You have to cut off some people that anchor and hold you down.
Yeah. I have to say, with this podcast, you think about how large our family is. So I must say, I value that as I got older, because I had so many cousins. I'm like, what do I need friends for? I got all these cousins.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have all these cousins who have the same roots, who have similar ethics and moral ethics and work habits and things like that, because we all pretty much got that instilled in us. But I need all these friends and people for that doesn't make any sense, so you start to value the relationship of your family way more than I feel like, of course, having friends is very important. Your social skills on that whole nother developmental level, absolutely great. But as you get older, you start to see things way differently. And we have more than enough cousins to connect.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that part that you just said too, like when I was younger, when I was in my early 20s, mid 20s, like I was like, nah, like that's crazy talk. Like, like your friends are the people that you choose in, boop, 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 whatever. And when I tell you, as the years go by, all of the things that people told me that I was like, no, that's not the case, is really lining up to making sense.
Yes.
Because those same friends that you chose, guess what? If y'all not moving in similar capacities, then they're gonna start dropping off. Like, and the things that are important to you are not gonna be important to them. I had a friend that I ended up losing touch with, and it was kind of a difficult situation for me. But one time I had this one really eye-opening conversation with this friend, right? And we were just kind of like doing what we normally do, shooting the shit, talking about life. And I was introducing some new concepts that I wanted to bring into my own life and some new business ventures that I wanted to start. And they were talking about some things too. And then I was doing my usual, just being supportive and trying to come up with ideas and whatnot. But this person had every excuse in the book as to why they couldn't achieve the thing that to achieve. When I tell you I was on this fall so irritated, like it was like in my spirit, like, yo, this is the conversation that I'm on. Like, this is actually draining me from being able to do the stuff that I want to do to take myself to the next level, right? So I think sometimes it's difficult to let go, especially based off of that time frame. But guess what? If you continue on with somebody who's not meant for you, it's going to either hurt you or it's going to hurt them. And I think when you take on the part that, oh shit, I might be hurting them more than I'm helping them. Because guess what? If you put somebody in a room that they're not prepared for, it could utterly destroy their life. Like, let me give
Absolutely.
you a small example. You know, if like, and this is a small anecdote that's just off the top of the dome. Let's say I'm gonna be this world-renowned musician, right? And I got this homie that play drums a little bit, play drums okay, but not the greatest musician. But I'm like, yo, you my homie, you from my town, like we love each other, you coming all the way with me, right? But being on a grand stage where I end up at was not his storyline, was not supposed to be where he's supposed to go. Next thing you know, the niggas on crack, right? And then you out in these rooms doing all these things, doing whatever, living your best life, and you brought him
Mhm.
to a room that he wasn't allowed to be in. And guess what? He's in the corner on a dirty mattress with a needle out his arm.
Crack strikes again.
That gets a long, that gets a long wow.
Yeah.
Taste
I
is
mean,
more
but
Burn,
you,
huh?
but that's real. Either they're coming with you or they're gonna pull you back to where you're leaving.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
choose yourself, or you choose to stay stagnant. And that's why so many people are bitter and upset with life, because they're blaming other people for, where they're at. Whereas it's your responsibility to choose your course, and you have to have
Absolutely.
the discipline to be able to be like, yeah, well, hey, this is where you get off. I'm an introverted person by nature, so I relish my alone time. So the people I bring into my life, if you're not adding value to me, you're disturbing my peace. And the more I get older, your peace is such a integral part of your growth and development. When you start stepping up, I don't want to hear of why I can't do anything. So the first time anybody tells me I can't do anything, I'm already looking at you like, okay. We see how
Mm-hmm.
long these conversations continue, because again, you have to build yourself up to such a full-headed esteem that you have to choose yourself. Choose yourself first, and I think everyone else falls into place.
I agree with that. And sometimes you have friends and you don't even know the storybook until certain things in your life start to happen. So for me, I had friends who they would rather me maybe struggling and going through things, and that's when they want to be the friend. But when you doing good and you on top of whatever, no phone calls, no, how you doing, what's going on, or you have a success story and they're just like, oh, okay. I had a friend who I thought was a friend. We were friends for quite some time. So for me, a big thing for me was having my child. That was like a wedding for me. That was like everything. That's what I wanted. After I graduate, after I get my doctorate, I am going to have this child, and I made it happen. So my baby shower was big. So I thought that was like a wedding for me.
Mhm.
This person got married and didn't tell me. I wasn't invited because the husband was homophobic.
What?
Oh
Did
wow.
not want any of my kind at the wedding. friends for years.
Wow.
Wow.
True friend, you would think that person would advocate and say, what? You
Right.
bugging. No, that's my friend. You crazy. We've been. If you agree with that, then I was like, ooh, blindsided.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming. Oh, that's how you feel? Oh.
Yeah.
But you was
Yeah.
just turning up with me at the shower.
Mhm.
So I'm confused.
Mm.
But no hard feelings. It is what it is. You guys have a happy life. That's it. But you move forward and you move on, and they start to just let you see who they really and truly are.
It's funny that you say that too, because when you mention like just letting them go, one of the things that really always rings true to me is like sometimes you have those moments where you're like, oh no, is this the right decision that I'm making? Like, is there something I
Right.
could be teaching them? Is this a learning situation? Is this a life lesson that I'm supposed to be facilitating in their life? Or do I just like chop it off? Like when I want to say Kendrick was saying something earlier, right? And the first words that popped into my head were survivor's guilt, right? And so
Absolutely.
for those of you guys who are not familiar with that concept, survivor's guilt, it says here on the internet that it's called survivor syndrome, and it's a mental condition that occurs when a person believes they have done something wrong by surviving a traumatic or tragic event when others did not, often feeling self-guilt, right?
Yeah.
And granted, this is a kind of a different type of element of that, but any situation in your life that you make it past, like let's say this is a struggle period of my life, or this is my 20s, you know what I'm saying? And I'm about to make it into my 30s, and it's people from my 20s in my sphere that cannot go, and I'm here left, and it's like, well, what about my friend? Like, you know, they're doing a little bad right now and I'm doing a little good. Maybe I should reach back out to them and, you know, see what's going on and try to help bring them up to where I'm at. And one of the things that my therapist told me when I was speaking with her about some of the things that I'm dealing with as far as like losing friends and being like kind of torn with that. I'm like, should I reach out? Should I have like a come to Jesus call or whatever? And the therapist was like, look, y'all were friends, and there are reasons and seasons for every single thing that happens, right? And if you see this person and you go, like, if you see this person out, right? Would you say hi to them? Would you shake their hand? Would you be like, oh, good to see you, and genuinely mean that? And I said, yeah. And then she was like, that can be enough. And that honestly,
Absolutely.
y'all, very simple, but that shit blew my mind. Because I thought I had to be an integral part of this person's life because I started out that way. But guess what? When you release yourself from that obligation, because it was never yours to even carry, because you
Exactly.
can only care about yourself and the people under you, you know what I'm saying? Like your kids, you know what I'm saying? To even that to an extent, you know what I'm saying? When your kids
Right.
get grown, then they on their own, you know, for all intents and purposes, like you cannot live their life for them.
Nope.
And I think everybody out there, if you are in a situation where you are struggling with whether or not to continue on in a relationship, in a business situation, if you can walk away from that, have peace around it, protect that peace, like Kendrick was saying, keep your peace, and you will be all the better for it.
Which is very important.
I
Right.
definitely want to add too. Sometimes, okay, like with the friend situation, I think that's the hardest because with classmates and people that just kind of like come along, even though you guys become like you can become close with somebody that comes along, it's easier to be like, I can't. It's easier to kind of wipe your hands with somebody who wasn't like a childhood friend, somebody you grew up with from the 7th grade or somebody high school you grew up with. Because for me, one of my friends, I thought she, you know, and two, we have to listen to our intuition because sometimes our spirit be telling us what to do and how to go. It's our guide, it's our light, and we don't be listening. Point blank, period. But one of somebody that I considered a friend, every time it was a birthday, I'm sending a cash app. Her son's birthday, I'm sending something for the birthday, you know. But when my book came out, you ain't bought one copy. When my birthday come, I don't get no cash app. Not that I'm looking for it, but it's not the what I do is not reciprocated in no way. Not even like I don't care about money or nothing like that. But to me, I feel like in a friendship, any type of friendship, partnership, relationship, it should be reciprocated, like in your own way. So even though giving money, because I do not have time to go to no store and buy no gifts and stuff like that. I just, here, girl, get what you want, get some lunch. All my friends know that's how I am. But you not even thought of me enough to send a card. A card ain't but 50 cents. You know, my birthday come the same day every year.
Every year.
You call yourself my friend, but you quick to take. And you've never done anything for my sons. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just to me. And, you know, I had a conversation with her a long time ago when I first wrote my book. I was like, why you never bought my book or whatever? I said, you act like you jealous of me. I said something to her. She was like, jealous? I admire you. What you? And in that instance, back then, as a young woman, I'm like 20 something years old. I didn't know to look at it like this. Now, 40 years old, hindsight is 2020, but it's like the admiration turned to envy. And it's like, once I realized you like me, but you don't like that I'm up, or you don't like the fact that you're not like me, then you can't come. Because see, I would have continued to, until I did an assessment and an evaluation of everybody in my life and the value that they bring to my life, I would have never, if I had never took the time to assess. We gotta assess, because sometimes if you don't look at what's around and who's around, that could be the very reason why you're not going up, you know?
Absolutely.
So when I did the assessment, I was like, she can't go, he can't go, she can't go, she can't come with me, because I'm a giving person, I'm a share. Because I can't take it all with me. I don't care if it's knowledge, money, whatever. It can't go with me. So I don't mind sharing. But some people, I want to give it to the people that deserve it. I want to give it to the people. I want to give to the people that need it and want it and are not takers. So sometimes admiration turns to jealousy with your friends. And even though you want to take them with you, they cannot go, because if they rock with you and they support you, that's what you're going to see from them. And if you don't see it from them, there's a reason why. Themselves, somebody that love you, there's no reason why they shouldn't support you. And I think once I did the assessment, I was able to see who rocked with me and who didn't.
So. Exactly. And it's easy to see. It's actually easy to see, because your true friends, they always rocking out for you. They're always telling you you're doing good, you can do this. And your true friends is also going to tell you about you. And I have those friends, so I know what that is supposed to look like. Like, you know, when I was dating, they'll be like, well, Martine, you're not the easiest person to get along with. And I'm like, I'm not. You need that. You really need that. And that's what you want around you. You don't want a yes man. I don't want a yes man for you to just be, oh, yeah. No, you're nice. No, tell me what it is. Tell me what I need to fix, because it doesn't do you any good. So those true friends, and like I'm telling you, please, they start going down.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Even to those 2 points that both of y'all made, like, it just tied together for me too. Like, because sometimes you have friends that start out that way, that are very good friends in your life during this phase, right? That are great. Like, they'll call you out on your stuff, they'll support you, but then some days they might be going through a certain situation, or they might be in a stage of life where they're not showing up in your life in that same way, which harkens back to how Tawana was saying, taking assessments. Just because they've been a great friend to you in the past doesn't mean that they are a great friend to you today. And when that is the case, guess what? They can't go no more. You know what I'm saying? They have reached their cutoff point. And with us all being grown adults now, it's very important that you are constantly assessing yourself. And with that, just like Tawana said, if you're assessing yourself, why then am I not assessing the sphere around me, all the people around me? If I'm constantly trying to do better myself and make myself better and be better to people and show up better for the other people in my life, I got to require that same thing from the people in my life toward me. And I think y'all hit the nail on the head with that.
And I, we can definitely attest that our true friends are siblings, because we have sisters who we can also turn to, and they can really tell us about us, you know. So that is also very important, you know, when you're growing and you're dealing with certain things. So that's big for me, turning to my sisters. And it's crazy that I say my sisters, because the two younger one is like, they were babies, but now they grown-ups and they get it and they understand. And sometimes I'm having a conversation with them and I can't believe I'm having this conversation with them like that.
Mhm.
They got a perspective.
Like,
They
girl,
have a
you smart.
perspective.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
okay, you get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my sister just said. And that's the reason why there was so much noise in the background, because Tara was here this weekend. Because
Hey.
her daughter, okay, so Tamara, so here's a family dynamic, y'all. So Tamara has Tara's daughter and is basically helping Tara out because Tara moved from Raleigh-Durham to Charlotte. And while Tara's working everything out, it would have been too much riff and wrath with Taylor in school. So Tamara was like, you want me to get Taylor? She ended up getting Taylor. Taylor and Casey, Tamara's daughter, are the same ages. So you have auntie raising niece, even in our generation.
Yes.
And even though Tara's gonna get her daughter back, you know, it's Taylor's birthday and we all were together, and there was an incident that happened with one of Tamara's friends, and she was like, that girl must, we don't know, I got sisters, I don't need no friends. I got sisters. So
Listen,
my sisters on my
if that's
built-in
anybody's
friends,
quote,
like,
that's Tamara's quote for sure. If I can hear anybody in our family saying that, I can hear Tamara saying that now.
For real.
yeah,
That's
Tamara
real.
and Tara, they both they like, shoot, I got sisters. I don't, bye, see ya. But it's a great, it's great, number one, to see that we had that bond. My mama made sure if we fought, she'd get that Bible out and she was Psalm 9, Psalm 23. All I made up. I ain't talking to her. Get this Bible out. Cause see, I ain't got time for my kids not to be talking. That's like her biggest fear. Like, I do not want to raise daughters that end up, if I pass away, they mad at each other and they ain't speaking. No, we ain't finna do that. No. But I think it's so.
But you're gonna have rifts. You're gonna have rifts. You're
Yeah, we have disagreements. We have blowouts. Sometimes we haven't talked to Tara in like 3 months or something like that. Like, we'll talk to her, but not talk to her. And it happens. But at the end of the day, I'm not throwing that one away. I'm sorry. You know, it's one of them things. I don't know. I don't know if it's like contradictory to what I just said, but even though she's my family, she has to go. I'll never leave her behind because she's my sister. You know what I'm saying? And
that's right. And if I argue with my sister on Monday, you bet you need to understand that you cannot argue or say nothing about her, because I will argue on her behalf, still not talk to her, but you won't get it. So absolutely not. And that's how I am with family as a whole. Because remember, the cousins were raised pretty much like siblings. We're close. We're close.
Always around each other.
Girls, we are close. I have an aunt who I'm close with. That's like my sister. So y'all better not say anything because we're going to have a problem. Now, always get along. Do we always see eye to eye? Maybe not. But it is what it is. It comes with it.
Now, okay, this brings a really cool element that I also want to make sure that we're covering too. So the topic of today's sermon is everybody can't go, right? Now, do we have any input on the decision-making process to maybe think about bringing certain people on? Like, when can people go? You know what I'm saying? What does that look like? Especially if you've been met with you might not be able to go situation, but what are we doing to consider giving them a second chance? You know what I'm saying? Like, when can they go?
At this point in the game, what we talked about is all a part of the whole adulting process. You have to be able to make decisions for yourself. I asked for guidance, and Tawana spoke to intuition, and I thought this was like some women stuff for a long time. But when you really start getting into yourself, and if I ask any question to myself and I sit with it, I get the right answer, or some type of inspiration to make a certain move. And you really have to, because I mean, you'll get to a certain level of success in life, you know, kind of like winging it. But when you're trying to like push past certain things, you have to tap into your gut. And that will always kind of put you into a place where you're always moving in the right direction. And it kind of easy to blow people falling off, but the simple fact that just as recently as maybe a few weeks ago, I'm cleaning up all my old stuff because again, to bring in and make space for the new, you have to clean out the old. And
Absolutely.
when I do things like that, I'll ask for, hey, not just these clothes or this old stuff right here, anything that's not serving a purpose in my life or me not doing the same to that same end has to go. And you'll be surprised. Your phone will stop ringing. You start
Mm,
people that you knew all your life just go away. And this is
yeah,
never. I always send out if it's like that. It's always love. It's
yeah,
always love. There's no we got beef. We got no beef. I love you and I want the best for you. I just can't be with you right now because I'm heading in this direction. You're in this direction. You always have before I go to bed at night and sometimes I wake up in the morning. I kind of go and I send love out to all my people. Now y'all
Love
know
and
I'm
light.
not really big on I'm not really big on talking to people on the phone. So very few people have access to me. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And I thought for a long time I kind of struggled with that because my personality, because I'm more introverted. I thought it was something wrong with me because like, oh, people call you and make you feel guilty. Oh, you don't call and check on me. But
Yeah.
that same morning, I'm sending out love so that you really tap into your spiritual aspect. And it's not to be on religious stuff. I'm talking about your spirit. It has all
Hmm.
it has all the answers. It has all the answers. And once you align with that, the outcomes will be easy to deal with.
I think too, we need to clarify some things here because when we say everybody can't go, just because you have a disagreement with somebody, that does not mean that you cut them off. And I'm gonna
Right.
say this.
No.
For a long time, I'm mad. I ain't talking to her no more. And I'm talking back to him 30 years later. Come on now. Especially in relationships. How many relationships? I ain't talk to that person no more. And you right back there on the phone, texting, kissing, whatever, making up. So I think we need to understand and bring clarity around when we say they can't go, we mean in the sense of the mindset, more of that than if you have a disagreement, because we can all sit on this phone and agree to disagree and then see each other
Keep
at
it moving.
a wedding
Be
or a
just fine.
funeral or a baby shower and be just fine. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Continue to share, continue to inspire, continue to empower, continue to uplift. As Kendrick say, I got send light and love ahead of you and to your family members every day. Every time I'm thinking about something that is not conducive to the health of my mind, I
Right.
start sending love and light. I send love and light ahead of me. So Kendrick is an
Excellent.
introvert, and people would think that I'm an extrovert, but I'm an ambivert. I'll be out
Mm.
there, but then I got to come back in and replenish. I am one of
I
those people like
Same.
I
Yeah.
love my alone time. Do
Yeah.
not if I'm on Facebook posting and you call me and I don't answer, don't get mad at me. Because this is
Exactly.
my time for social media to post. Because
Mhm.
sometimes I'll post and put my phone down and won't look back at it. I'm an ambivert. I just need my me time. But then I like being out sometimes. And if we friends and we talking next to each other at dinner because I met you through somebody else, don't think I'm your best friend and call me tomorrow because that is not me. That's not me.
I'll be like,
So
how
I'm
you got my
thinking
number?
at the phone like,
Girl, hey
It's like,
girl, what you doing? I'm not her. I'm social in a social setting. And then when I'm home, I'm home. I already got enough friends. I got enough family. I got way too many family members. You know what I'm saying? So I
yeah.
wanted to bring clarity around disagreements versus mindset. And, like Kendrick was saying, letting your spirit lead you. If somebody is around you that's super negative, super not, just not you in the sense of values, they can't go. But if you
Yeah.
have if I have a disagreement with my sister, that doesn't mean she cannot go. So I think for me, it's understanding that and putting perspective to what the topic is today. Because a lot of people, oh, she can't go. She want to sit up here and do this and do this. She can't. I don't want it to be misconstrued.
Yeah.
Don't want to be so impulsive and everybody just can't go because you just in one of
Right.
those movies either.
Mhm.
So you don't
Mhm.
be impulsive, but it's the reality of it. It definitely is a mindset. And like you said, I am horrible with staying connected. And I have to be honest. I am horrible. I get it all the time from Mama S, all the time. oh, you living? Where you at? You know, so it's like I that's something I need to work on. Because don't get me wrong, I'll think about the person all the time, but
right.
especially with having a kid and I was a single mom, it was a lot. And then a challenging career, it was a lot. So it was a lot to balance. I had to learn, you know, my way and things like that. So I sucked at staying connected. I sucked, but that did not mean I don't care about you. I don't love you. I'm not thinking about you or any of that. It just means I'm trying to get a grip on what's going on in my little area of life right here.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
you know, stuff like that, I never want like family to think, oh no, she just disconnected from us. And that's not the case. It's just life starts to get real and you try to figure out your groove and focus on that. And do I need to do better? Absolutely. I think I do. And it's definitely a work in progress. And even in partnerships, please, I'll text this person and then the person like, oh, you ain't text me back. Oh, I didn't. Oh, sorry. Oh,
And they shouldn't cut you off. And they shouldn't cut you off. Oh, she can't go because you're not as connected.
Exactly.
As maybe they are.
People can't. Believe it or not, some people can't deal with that because they like, you know, individuals who are kind of like the clingy type, like the, you know, you all the time. And I can't say I'm that type because if I text you Monday, I'm fine. If we don't talk till Friday.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the opposite. If I text you Monday, you got till Monday, 5.5 minutes later, all your ass trash. Burn in hell. I never want to see you again.
But look, is that based on the person? Is that based on the individual?
It's definitely individual based. Like if I know you to be a certain way in my life, and then you showing up funny style, you can rot in hell.
I can agree with that.
It's very subjective. And let me tell you something. Like we all said, if you're not adding value to my life, Monday and Friday is fine. Because the ones that are adding value, they're getting way more than that.
Yeah.
They're getting way more than that. They're getting that acknowledgement. But when it comes to family, I feel like family is family and we can just connect regardless if I spoke to you or not. You can text me. We could just start back. Look how long we haven't
Absolutely.
That's what I was gonna say. We like every time I come, like when I came to New York, and the New York crew was super supportive of my endeavor, like super supportive, and I appreciate. You know, I can always appreciate that. But there's a friend that I have in Harlem, one of my good friends. I don't talk to her sometimes for 3, 4, 5 months. And when we get on the phone, girl, let me tell you what happened. Let me fill you in. You know, so I think the connection isn't, I don't think the connection is the thing. I think the mindset is what we evaluate when we're saying you can't go. Because even, let's go back to the group project. Even the person in the group project that may have not pulled their weight in the beginning, but recognizes errors in their ways and says, you know what? Let me get what I need to do. Because maybe life was happening. If life was happening to them and they just couldn't fit whatever in to do their part, that's one thing. But the entire time of making excuses, not pulling your weight, not doing what you're supposed to do, that's a mindset thing. It is not it's not a disconnection. It's a disconnection, but it's not so much of a connection versus mindset because your mind, I am highly convicted when I say I'm going to do something and don't do it. I be sitting up there dreaming about shit I need to do. You know, if I haven't done it yet, you be feeling bad. You be like, damn, I need to pull my weight. I need to do, even for myself, not even forget a group. For me, if it's something that, oh shoot, I need to make this deadline, if I fall asleep on the couch, I bet you I'm gonna be dreaming about it because it's gonna be in the back of my head, like, you know, you need to get this done. You said you were going to do it. So like I said, I keep going back to mindset when it comes to the whole can't go.
I agree. And I also think it's your level of maturity. Like I said, when it comes to projects, when I was younger, like maybe undergrad, absolutely not. You do, I'm telling you about yourself, not I'm telling you, I'm sorry, I'm telling you. But as you get older and things like that, you probably like, they probably struggling. You have that conversation on the side. Look, what can I help with? What do you need help with? Da da da. Try to be supportive and things of that nature. So it also it's mindset on both ends. Because you know your level of maturity actually falls into your overall action and your behaviors. Because I know I'm a work in progress myself. Because I can very impulsive and shut you down and won't even think twice. Okay, next. So it's like, how long can you do that? You just gonna be here by yourself,
by your damn self,
all by yourself, and just be twiddling your thumbs. So it's like you have to work on you as well.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, when everyone's gonna have, you don't want yes men, so you're gonna have some conflict, and even when you have the conflict or a difference in opinion, it's about the, like you said, the mindset of why are we disagreeing? Is it a mindset difference, or is it like, okay, well, I like red, you like blue?
Yes.
That's not a cutoff thing. It's like, okay, well, we can agree to disagree. But if I'm trying to reach heights in my life and I'm telling you about it, and you tell me how I can't do that shit, you cut yourself off. Don't get mad with me. You cut yourself off for me, because if I'm sharing my plan with you and you're like, oh well, you can't do that shit. Like, you can't do that shit, and I don't want to hear you tell me what I can't do anymore. So I'm gonna let you do what you do.
As we're wrapping up our conversation, because we're about to coming to the end of the episode. One of the things that I've gathered from this whole conversation is it literally just came to me, and it's like we all in our self-assessments have to understand what our core values are, right? Absolutely. If you are centered on integrity, if you are centered on ambition, that is how you can assess who can go or not. If someone around you does not align with your core values, I can't be this person who is very big on integrity and my best friend is a thief. Guess what? You can't go with me, thief. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think if we
check your pockets,
keep an eye on that, keep an eye on the things that are most important to us, we can mindfully make the decisions on who can continue and who can't go. And I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to like kind of leave your ending thoughts and the things that you've been able to walk away from this conversation with.
I agree with that. I also feel like you have to know that it's just going to happen. You're just going to automatically know who's going to be there, who's not going to be there. It's not something that you have to sit and continue to jot down and, oh, this person did this on this day, this person did that on that day. It's just going to happen. And you're going to be, look, 2021. And I'm like, dang, I used to know her. And it didn't happen, and it's okay. And you have to be okay and content with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. And do you wish them well? Absolutely, you do. But you are on your own journey. Everybody has their own path. It's not necessarily for everybody to, during your journey, pick up. You can leave them right where they are.
Right.
And Martine and Judy, y'all make a great point, because it's like you said, they just fall off. It's not something you have to. There's a quote that says, "Why cut off what you can untie?" You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can let things just kind of just go by the wayside. And like Martine said, when you look up again, oh, I ain't talked to Ashley in such a long time. I pray everything is okay with her and her daughter. I wish her the best, but I hope all is well with her, and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's something like you have to do unless it's that type of person. Now, we do have some bitches and niggas walking around
rotten in hell.
Right, that you have to be like, okay, enough is enough. Julie, you got me doing this because you did this last season.
That's it.
You got to go.
At the end of the day, I feel that if I don't have the discipline to do what's best for my life, what good am I to you anyway?
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? If I can't make those hard decisions of what needs to happen for me to get to the next level, how am I adding value to your life? Because I can't really add value to my life because there's no value there because I haven't defined it. So it's very important that, like you said, it's not really a hard thing. It sounds more harsh than it really is, because like at the end of the day, most people kind of fall off. And what happens after they fall off? I'm gonna show them that love. Some people might come back. I might get down the road and turn around. Oh, are you back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if it's real, it should be no awkwardness. It's just like, oh, okay, caught
Yeah.
up, cool. Let's keep it moving.
Mm-hmm. Ricochet. Mm-hmm.
Choose yourself
Absolutely.
first. You can't pour from a half full vessel. So until I can get myself to a level of overflowing, I'm no good to myself and nobody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
That's it, y'all. I hope that we covered on anything and everything that you guys wanted us to cover. And if not, please remember that you can write in, email us at HEYYYY cousin@gmail.com. Thank you for coming back to season 2. And thank you to Cousin Martine for coming in. We have had an amazing first episode with you. We're so excited
Absolutely.
for the rest of the season. And we will see y'all. Love y'all.
Hey, cousin.